I think when you're planning for retirement and planning where the income's going to come from, it's important to think beyond just your superannuation. And, you know, super is one channel that will feed income in retirement, but there are others. So we're going to talk this evening about the role that age pension will play alongside superannuation, because they can complement each other beautifully. And remembering that retirement is not black and white anymore. It's very rare now for somebody to hang up their boots on a Friday evening and be fully retired on Monday morning.
And we do actually know, based on our own research, that half of our members don't retire once.
Yeah, they tend to retire far more than once. So I think it's important that we're realistic here about the fact that super won't be everything. There will be some form of other potential income that may be fed through in retirement. But I think sometimes to get a good appreciation and a good understanding of the role that superannuation plays in your retirement, a great starting point is to imagine your retirement if you had no super and no assets. And what would that look like? And the reality is that would actually look like the age pension. All right. And the age pension in this country is a safety net, and it's a critical source of income for many people. We know that people who are currently retired, at least 80% of them are getting some form of age pension. And of those, well over half of them are getting the full age pension. So we know the age pension is needed to keep the lights on and put food in the bellies of many retirees in this country. The only concern about relying wholly and solely about the age pension is you've got no control over your own retirement story. You don't get to determine what age you're eligible for age pension. You will be told you can retire at 67 and no earlier, if that's where your income needs to come from. You don't get to control the lifestyle that that's going to offer you, because the age pension rates are set, and you don't get to control how much money you'd like to get. The government decides that. And even coming down to more practical things, you don't get to control whether or not you'd prefer a monthly income or a fortnightly income. You get what you get, and you don't get upset kind of concept. So the age pension gives you very little room to move. The role that superannuation plays, and the reason why we're so passionate about people having good super, is back to that point. It gives you choice. It gives you the ability to write your own retirement story. Superannuation, as Josh mentioned, will become accessible to you at the age of 60 in some way or another. This is giving you an opportunity to choose your own retirement age between 60 and 67, or beyond if you wish. But not only that, it's also giving you an opportunity to be more in control of the lifestyle you'll have and how you enter retirement, right? As opposed to having to go from the black and white full-time work to retirement. So super is a wonderful tool for freedom and choice.
And I think I'll talk about the age pension in one sec, but I think that's the important thing for us to discuss tonight, that the age pension will be, for the majority of us, certainly for the medium term, will be a key part of our income.
That's
and
right.
It will always exist. What your super allows you to do is think beyond those rules, to think about the freedom, choice and flexibility that you have. So as Ruth said, there are rules here, and the first is to do with when you can actually start to receive the age pension, and it all depends on age. The age pension age, as I said earlier, is increasing progressively from the age of 65 to the age of 67. There was consideration by the government a few terms ago to actually try and increase that to age 70. That never went through Parliament, never passed the Senate. So there's no legislation to increase it further. But what I would say, probably more for people of our generation, that we have to be aware that age pension will have to move in some sense, that we are living for longer, the government is having to support us for longer with the age pension. So that age pension age of 67, although I wouldn't suggest it would worry the older members that are listening now, but certainly of our age group, we would have to worry. For your girls and for my son, it'll be age 100 probably. But what the bigger hurdle is, though, is once you reach that age pension age, you then have to pass two tests. An income test, which will effectively add up everything that you earn, whether that be employment income, investment income, rental income, income from every source. And they will then determine whether that income means that you actually deserve an age pension. They will also do an assets test, which will look at absolutely everything you own, your furniture, your car, whatever it may be, but they will exclude your family home. Now, the recent Retirement Income Review actually reaffirmed that the family home, there is no intention to suggest that that should be part of the assets test. So no, the asset test currently includes everything bar your family home. Now, the bad news here is that whichever test you go worse in will actually determine what you get as age pension. So you go through both these tests, they'll give each of them a result, and whichever one is the worst result, that tells you how your age pension will look. Now, we don't want to spend too much time on it, but really what you've got is firstly in case of the income test, they will look at whether you are a single person or partnered. And depending on that, they will determine what age pension rate you will actually get. If you earn in all income sources less than that threshold that we're showing on screen, then congratulations, you will pass the age pension test in this case and get the full age pension under it. If though you approach the cutoff in all your income combined, you will only qualify for the part pension, and if your income is higher than the cutoff, you will get nothing. Now, Ruth mentioned earlier that a vast majority of Australians get the age pension once they reach age pension age, and that a vast majority of those get the full age pension. They pass the income test in most cases. Where we tend to see part pensioners occur is with the assets test, and that people just have too much locked away in savings. And this could include locked away in investment properties and the like. What the government will do here is not just look at whether you are single or partnered, but also look at whether you own your own home or not. And remembering they exclude the value of your principal residence from this, if all your assets put together add up to the threshold, then congratulations, you'll get the full age pension. Between the threshold and the cutoff, you'll get a part pension. Greater than the cutoff, you will get nothing. So this is really the first hurdle, and I say that when it comes to retirement, there's a holy trinity that you really need to think about in retirement. That is, how do you reduce your tax? How do you maximise your age pension? And how do you make sure you are getting the highest amount of income you can? The maximising your age pension is a really important consideration, especially for any of you who might be getting close to those cutoffs.